Jamie, there will be a lot of expectation around this Liverpool side because of the signings that have been added, because they are the defending champions. Is it reasonable to expect them to defend their title and defend it convincingly?
People may say that because there's no doubt the squad is much stronger than it was last season. We could see that in the teams that the manager picked. He didn't have full confidence in certain players, and he's rectified that in terms of players that he's brought in. But I envisage a much tighter title this season because I think Liverpool will be better. I think they maybe get more points than they got last season because they dropped off towards the end. But I think Manchester City and Arsenal will be a lot more stronger than they were last season. Those two have been the two teams really in the last 2 or 3 seasons who've battled it out for the Premier League title. Last season they dropped off and Liverpool took full advantage of that. And I expect those teams to be a lot stronger this season.
Liverpool hadn't been particularly active in the last few transfer windows, but they certainly have this time around, Gary. Are you surprised that they've gone out with a title-winning side and made so many big money signings?
No, I think that, to be fair to Carragher, he called it a long way through last season that basically Liverpool needed to sign players irrespective of whether they won the league or not. They've obviously lost players, 4 or 5 great players that have served them well over the last few years, so they've had to bring new talent in. They're really measured, they don't panic. I think they've been very calm in the transfer market and they seem to wait to get the right player, and they've really pounced this summer with probably 1 or 2 more still to come, and it's looking like excellent business on paper with players with lots of years in front of them as well.
Obviously missing from the outs for Liverpool is Diogo Jota following his death in the summer. When you look at that changeover of players, Jamie, is that the one note of caution that you might strike for anybody who's excited about Liverpool's signings, that there is quite a big churn this summer?
Yeah, that is the worry, and Liverpool haven't looked themselves in pre-season. I mean, it might sound strange what I'm going to say now, but Liverpool still need more players because of the actual players that have gone out. You think of the amount of forwards Liverpool had last season, they've lost 3 and they've brought 1 in. So Liverpool still need to bring at least 1 more forward in, maybe 1 more defender, and then that is a formidable squad that will look to attack the Premier League and the Champions League. But this is not about the ownership now throwing all kinds of money about. Liverpool feel this is the right thing to do. I think Liverpool will now go maybe 2 or 3 windows without spending again because they'll feel like, right, we've got the squad, it's a great age, and we're almost getting ready for the time when Mohamed Salah and Virgil van Dijk maybe move on in 2 years' time.
I think it really goes to show, though, how important it was to secure Van Dijk and Salah, because if you're thinking about integrating new defenders, which they are doing, it's to have a kingpin like Van Dijk to hold it together and give everybody comfort. It's like a comfort blanket. Similarly, up front, you've got Salah, who's ice cold, so composed. So the likes of Wirtz and Ekitike, they're going to be settled enormously by the fact that Salah's there and he's consistent and he's reliable. So I think the major signings probably happened at the end of last season when they signed Salah and Van Dijk, because those new young players that are coming in have got people to really learn from.
I want to get your thoughts as well on what Jamie was saying about this being a considered transfer window, and Jamie was just saying that this has been a very considered transfer window. Even if Isak comes in, even if Marc Guehi is the defender who's being linked with Liverpool at the moment, comes in, and the spending goes up further, does it feel like something that's thought out rather than, as Jamie was saying, the opposite of just throwing money at a problem?
Yeah, because I think last summer it could have been Jurgen Klopp leaves. What would a lot of clubs done? They would have brought a new manager in and they would have definitely supported him in the transfer market. Liverpool did the best business last summer by not signing anybody, and they had consistent players, same squad, and they won the league. But obviously they only could do that for so long. They have lost 3 or 4 really important players. They had to go strong this summer. So they've bedded the manager in for a year. They've kept the same squad last season. Now's the time to really go for it. And they bought players who've got looks like a massively promising future.
Gary, just talk to me about the difficulty in defending a title rather than going out and winning a title.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand why Carragher's a little bit cautious in saying that obviously it's not a foregone conclusion that Liverpool are going to win the league, and I hope he's right. But if I'm looking at it from a point of view of Liverpool, with Van Dijk, with Salah, with Alisson, with these players that they've brought in, they should have their chests out. They should be thinking, we're going to win this league again. You can never say you're going to win the league comfortably. I don't think it's ever comfortable, and Liverpool players won't have felt comfortable last season. But they've won 2 in 33, 34 years. This is now a time for Liverpool to really kick. They've This is now a time for Liverpool to really kick on. It really is, because Arsenal haven't proven they can win it yet. City don't look at their strongest. Pep's looking like he's going through a transition. United are nowhere near. Chelsea not quite there. So Liverpool really are massive favourites, but they should really feel strength in that rather than feel pressure.
I know you're joking about the 2 and 5, but it's actually the phrase that Arne Slot uses when he talks about Liverpool and Premier League titles. Is that, do you think, Jamie, partly because he's trying to instill that idea in the squad and that belief in the fans that this is a team that should and can be challenging regularly for titles?
Yeah, I think his comments have been really interesting in the pre-season, because he keeps getting asked about how many players have come in and how much Liverpool have spent, and he keeps saying that a normal title winner doesn't lose this many players. So I don't know if it's just what he thinks himself, or he's sending a little message to his board that maybe he's unhappy with how many players have gone. Maybe Luis Diaz, it was that one where you could argue both ways. Half the supporters probably wanted to keep him, the other half probably wanted to move him on because it was a good price. But he is right in that you don't really see a title-winning team not so much not bring players in, but take so many players out. The Trent one was out of his hands, but Luis Diaz played a lot. Obviously, Núñez played a lot. Obviously, we know the situation with Jota as well. So I don't think it is a foregone conclusion because of that reason. It almost feels like a different team.
Not long left to wait now. I will be live to Anfield next, ahead of the Champions opener with Bournemouth. Owen live right now. Hi there again, Alan. Well, listen, we know that there is, of course, huge excitement around Anfield, as there will be around all the home grounds that are hosting games in the Premier League this weekend. But, of course, where you are, it is tinged with sadness, it is tinged with poignancy, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is, David. You can see the fans here at Anfield behind me. They've been gathering in their numbers throughout the course of the afternoon. We're still over 3.5 hours away from kick-off. But as you say, that excitement of a new season is tempered somewhat here at Liverpool following the tragic loss of Diogo Jota on July the 3rd. We've got bright skies and sunshine at Anfield, but there does seem like there's been a real dark cloud hovering over the football club since that day, and many tributes have been paid to Diogo Jota outside Anfield since his tragic passing, and those tributes will continue today, both on and off the pitch. There will be respect paid by the fans outside the stadium before the match gets underway, and then prior to kick-off there will be a period of silence, and then again the fans will pay more tributes to Diogo Jota on 20 minutes. The shirt number, of course, that he wore, and plenty of fans wearing the number 20 jersey with the Jota name on the back this evening. And I've no doubt that the Jota song, so popular with Liverpool fans, will reverberate around Anfield throughout the course of the evening, but particularly on 20 minutes. And just to make the night even more emotional, we do understand that Diogo Jota's wife and his 3 children will be in attendance here tonight.
Yeah, just watching more of those scenes there with the fans paying their tributes to Diogo Jota. Let's look, though, to the game itself and matters on the pitch. I mean, so many changes in this Liverpool squad, especially with the likes of Florian Wirtz and Hugo Ekitike joining up. And a real show of ambition from Arne Slot.
Yeah, it's a real contrast, isn't it, to this time last season when Arne Slot had taken over and basically inherited Jurgen Klopp's side and didn't touch it. We only had Federico Chiesa come in, really, and didn't figure much in the Premier League campaign. But as I say, a real contrast this time, and you'd expect those 4 real new additions to start this game this evening. 2 new fullbacks in Jeremy Frimpong replacing Trent Alexander-Arnold. Milos Kerkez brought in from Bournemouth. He'll play against them tonight if he's selected ahead of Andy Robertson, and then ahead of them, well, real talent in Florian Wirtz, who's already excited the Liverpool fans, and Hugo Ekitike, who's been brought in as well. And Ekitike and Frimpong both on the score sheet last week in the Community Shield game against Crystal Palace, which Liverpool ultimately went on to lose. And still real concerns from fans around Liverpool defensively, and who knows, they may even strengthen further in that department. Still rumours regarding Marc Guehi coming in from Crystal Palace, and who knows regarding Alexander Isak as that ongoing saga continues. He could be yet another that's brought in a real revamp around Anfield. But yeah, major investment but they have lost players as well, of course. Liverpool have recouped money from those sales to bring in real talent, and Arne Slot says he's ready. The club are ready, raring to go, but it does take time for new players to fit in. Bournemouth likewise have got the same situation. They've lost a number of players, essentially their back line, but they have brought in replacements. They did well away from home last season. They only lost 5 of their games on the road, but they'd be wary of the fact that Liverpool haven't lost any of their 12 opening league fixtures in the last 12 seasons. They've won 9, drawn 3, and they'll be favourites to win this one. And you can see it all unfold, of course, tonight on Sky Sports. This game is live.
Thank you very much indeed, Alan. Yeah, let's confirm that for you. All the build-up from Anfield from 6:30 p.m. over on Sky Sports. Premier League kickoff is at 8, so really not long to go now. Gents, we heard Alan Owen mention it there, that Liverpool may not be done yet in terms of their transfer business in this summer window. He mentioned Marc Guehi, and of course Liverpool have already signed 18-year-old defender Giovanni Leone from Parma. Carve, do they still want to sign another defender? The Marc Guehi links, they seem credible.
Yeah, no, they definitely want to sign Marc Guehi. I think the issue is there's a gap in valuation because he's got a year left on his contract. I think Liverpool want to pay a fee that starts with a 3, whereas Crystal Palace want a fee that starts with a 4. Now, I don't think that is unbridgeable, because Steve Parish, the Palace chairman, has come out himself and said that we can't have a situation where a player as good as Marc Guehi leaves on a free transfer next summer. But obviously he's got the option of doing that. And if he just stays at Crystal Palace, from January he can start talking to foreign clubs about moving as a free agent on a lucrative deal next summer. But I think Liverpool definitely want him. It's just a question of whether they can do a deal with Crystal Palace, because Crystal Palace, I think their fans will accept the fact that out of Marc Guehi and Eberechi Eze, one of them is probably going to go. We just don't know which one yet.
I would also add to that, Marc Guehi will have something to think about as well. He's got a World Cup,
of course,
at the end of the season.
Minutes, yeah.
And if he stays at Crystal Palace, he'll be captain, he'll be guaranteed to start, you would think, every single week.
Yeah.
Would he need assurances from Liverpool if he was to go there, whether he was going to get that game time he would need to not only make the squad under Thomas Tuchel, but maybe start as well?
Yeah, and also Alan mentioned about how Liverpool had recouped well in terms of sales, the likes of Diaz, Nunez, Quansah, Kelleher, etc., etc.
One other thing, actually.
Go on.
I forgot to mention it.
Yeah.
I think when it comes to Marc Guehi as well, there's the possibility that Liverpool would be able to do a deal with Crystal Palace, which would also involve a player or players going from Liverpool to Crystal Palace as part of that deal, because we know Palace want to bring players in as well, and there are some Liverpool players that Palace definitely would be interested in.
Okay.
So our information is that is something else that has been discussed as well.
Okay, yeah, just adds to the complexity and the options there for the clubs.